So what Brasilia became in less than 20 years wasn't the city of tomorrow at all. It was yesterday's science fiction. Nothing dates faster than people's fantasies about the future. This is what you get when perfectly decent, intelligent and talented men start thinking in terms of space rather than place, and about single rather than multiple meanings. It's what you get when you design for political aspirations and not real human needs. You get miles of jerry-built platonic nowhere infested with Volkswagens. This, one may fervently hope, is the last experiment of its kind. The utopian buck stops here.
Action towards judgments counter by embodying moral fixtures as hypnotic indignation. When confronting America's indifference to genocide, tolerance is not equality, certainly agrees racism could be taught better in school. 3A logic proposals are meant to be applied.
Whether it's designer jeans, sofas or sneakers, headphones, candy, vodka, hamburgers, we find what is true and unique about each one and tell the story that only it can tell. Its pleasures and effects, where there should be music heard. Plus, the narrative group has worked with many of the world's favorite creative way.
Talking about a history.
So if I want to design the structure, I write
History is like a
Society of the spectre.
in media terms.
I cannot build the structure in any other way.
Narrative is the coherent organization given to a series of facts.
This is the set of all equilibrium I want to.
We not only introduce your brand, but continually keep the conversation fresh
But keep the stiffness constant. The structure, if I have a structure and I want to
One important aspect of narration is the point of view.
control structure from this shape to this shape to this shape, I could stop the
The
control
human mind needs narrative to make sense of
at
things.
any moment in time, and
We
it's still
capture the
in
elusive.
equilibrium.
It is important to ask what
What can I do
to our view.
so that if I control energy, I require the energy out of the structure shape is theoretical.
So it's not enough. Man is an animal who judges. And even in a culture which has split as disastrously in as many ways as ours has, the problems of choice and taste and moral responsibility for images still remain. In fact, they get harder. But the rock upon which the avant-garde sank was that art could no longer control that responsibility.
The brakes take a similar direction in the two planes. So when you put them on top of one another, they seem to continue the same brakes as though I had done it on purpose.
Duchamp's finely tuned indifference is one of the divides between the late machine age and the time in which we live. The large glass was a long way from the optimism and the sense of possibility with which greater painters but less sophisticated men than Duchamp greeted the machine in those long lost days before World War I. For machinery was now turned on its inventors and their children. After 40 years of continuous peace in Europe, the worst war in history cancelled the faith in good technology. The myth of the future went into shock, and European art moved into its years of irony, disgust and protest.
The marketing,
So we have to bend it into plane, right?
or angle of vision, from which the events are narrated or viewed, influence the marketing.
Either threshold energy I require, the energy I have to put in the structure.
Media texts present versions of the world through packaging of events and characters into
So that
stories.
we have only one
They may also be mini narratives or narrative snapshots,
So,
limited
total
or single
energy I
narrative
require, the
events
energy
which
I have to
lead
put
the
in the
viewer to
structure.
complete the narrative, a technique which is used in many
Specialized
magazines
material
and
to be more
television.
efficient for the total.
Listeners, viewers, and the
So
audience.
then we use our total energy I require, the energy I have to put in the structure that acts like a rigid body, but in some
They may also be continuous or serial narratives, such as television news broadcasts or self-narrative.
Red bud cell, you see lots of mechanical structures.
Such narratives may be extended and developed, as in film dramas or documentary programs where the whole story is told.
Then the material can be specialized to take advantage.
One of the most important of these is through the codes and conventions of narrative.
Its integrity model, this is its integrity system. So,
Do we
integrity
simply
model, this is its
reconstruct the
integrity
meaning that
system.
was put in by the producer or director? Or is it more an issue of our personal and subjective responses,
This is compressive members and tension members.
our feelings, thoughts, attitudes and values, which we then bring to what we want?
You had direct staples to different parts of the red blood cell membrane. So, and biology was my motivation to look seriously at architecture of life. Biology
A particular event or image may mean one thing, denotation.
So this is every blood cell, every cell in our bodies,
But may take on one of a number of connotations for an audience.
some kind of its integrity. So let me give you some examples from biology. If you look underneath the red blood cell of the
Analysis of examples reveals the importance of this aspect of media narration.
so the atomic structure of
Particularly when considering advertisements.
The other motivation for me was Smalley, who won the Nobel Prize in '97 for his work with graphene.
Narratives necessarily imply a viewer or listener because of the nature of the film or television medium,
If you fold it about this axis, you get.
as highly visual forms,
If you fold it about a different axis, you get this structure.
who is addressed, on what terms and in what ways,
You close this way or this way or this way.
and to a certain extent they construct that viewer or address certain types of viewer in certain ways.
If you fold the sheet around to make a cylinder,
The issues of denotation and connotation have been extremely important in helping us to describe and analyze the meanings that we find in film and media texts,
and so if you change the rules of closure,
and to be responsive to the functions of the type of program, informative, entertainment, moral awareness.
so I will skip the details.
Viewers need to be familiar with the conventions of the narrative. Think, for example, of what happens if you laugh your way through the
You
news.
have the same material, but the rules of closure give you totally different mechanical properties of the final result.
Now don't worry, Mommy will take care of everything. It has been remarked that every media text constructs its own implied audience to one type of viewer rather than another, and therefore excludes particular gender. This obviously has important implications for exploring what pleasures and profit individuals get from films, programs, and why some types of narratives just do not appeal or speak
Why couldn't we do this with mechanical? Why couldn't
to individuals or groups, racial, social, or age groups. Within a narrative, a narrator will use certain codes for particular
local
effects.
topology of materials? How the
For example, the use of certain codes to generate or control the flow of suspense, narrative codes, to provide setting, to engage the viewer's attention, to reveal character, or to further the plot. It has been argued that everything within a narrative has a particular function or serves a purpose.
local topology,
Nothing is ever superfluous.
so that
A cultured
we
taste.
develop the rules of closure material. How get the tape together? So that we develop the rules of closure. We develop the rules of closure.
Setting, viewer address or character codes are used. This refers to the type of narrative which is being presented.
With some guarantee on what the property, mechanical
Our
properties will be.
imagination
And their
is all that
effects.
is all that is left.
Analysis of particular narratives will reveal where such enigma,
An array of local topologies.
the newscaster or the football commentator is one type of commentator, as is the voiceover in a television commercial, but may also implicitly or explicitly evaluate or authoritatively comment,
How to put things together.
tells the
So
story
that
upon the presented material.
the presence of external material. So,
A particular program or film may
Now
stick
this-
to one genre, but may also combine elements.
Looks and finds his red finger. He's got horns, just like the prototypical devil. And they say, bad juju. This guy's bad. And then I take him around the corner, and around the corner from there is an arcane figure, mysterious. It looks like he's holding surrounded by dots, and then he looks as if he's holding a lotus blossom or something like that. Very strange. in my studies of petroglyphs, this is a pictograph, and it's faded, it's facing west, so it's slightly in shadow. My studies of these things indicates that when it's surrounded by dots, that means sacred or holy or
spiritual.
Yeah. And so it just has a strange vibe to it. Now, I've taken one Ute there and one not Shoshone, Lakota. Both elders, I'm sure, absolutely positive they don't know one another. And they see this figure, and they say that's not good. It represents the skinwalker. The 14 figures on the other side of the valley are there, the Watchers. And they were put there to keep the skinwalker up that canyon and to warn people, don't go up this canyon because there's a skinwalker up there. Now, the next canyon over, according to the Ute I was with, told me that there's always a Ute elder that's there to keep the Utes from coming down and going over to the other valley. He's there to make sure the skinwalker does not escape and get down. Now, the story that I got from both of them was, and again, they don't know each other, was that the 5 figures were the family of the one guy that's got bad juju. They were all related, and they're star beings, and that they died, and their spirits all went to this one guy, and he is the skinwalker. And the problem that I have with this story, although I don't disbelieve it, I got it from, like I said, 2 sources. It makes no sense, because the skinwalker up at the valley, if you continue on that valley, you end up in the Ute reservation, and that's where the skinwalker ranch is, where the skinwalker up there has been harassing the Ute Nation, the people of the Ute Nation, and the other people for hundreds of years. And if we believe and accept the stories that we're hearing from the people at Big Old Ranch and the family that was driven off of that land, there's a portal there where star beings come and go. Yet the skinwalker is trapped there. He claims he was trapped there because he's communicating with the Ute. And so the mystery deepens in that if he can come and go, why is he trapped? Unless he's fulfilling some type of mission. Because the Ute story is that this skinwalker was sent there to curse them because of some wrongdoings that the Ute Nation had done against the Navajo Nation, a group of Utes had done against a group of Navajos. So if they can come and go, I guess he's there to continue to harass, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's we have an umbrella situation where they group everything together. This isn't necessarily a skinwalker. It's some type of entity. It's some type of something supernatural, and maybe partly in the flesh too, but not necessarily a lot. I find it fascinating.
Yeah,